So you've been reading everywhere that you need to bow straight on the violin. But when you try to do that, it seems like your arm is too short to be able to bow straight all the way at the extreme tip. In this video, I'm going to give you some tips to be able to bow in a correct way at the tip, even if you have very short arms or if you feel like you have a very short right pinky. Now there are some permission slips that I'm going to give you. The first one, if you want to bow absolutely straight, then you have my permission to lift your pinky a little bit. Now you can't do that if you maybe play something very fast, so it depends on where in the music you would do this. But there are many soloists who, even if they play a sautier just above the middle, even lift their pinky a little bit off the bow. You must, however, be careful if it doesn't influence your sound. So even if you would take your pinky off, then you shouldn't put it back on in a way that would disturb your musical line or cause a scratch. So experiment if this option is right for you. If not, and maybe in some other cases that this doesn't work, I have another permission slip for you. And that is, well, if you look at soloists, do they bow absolutely straight? Well, actually, often they don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they don't, it's not because it's a mistake, because those people are crazy talented. They don't make mistakes. Well, they do, but very little, not a little basic mistake like this. And that's because if I want to make a smooth bow change all the way at the tip, it works just a little bit better if I round it off a little bit, if I slant my bow a little bit. And if you have short arm, this can just give you the space you need to not be able to stretch. Because if you stretch all the way and you have tension, then then that doesn't benefit the sound that you make. So you need to experiment and find something for the particular piece that you are playing that works for you and that gives you the best sound. And that can be a little bit different per piece of music and per person and the combination of those two. Now, if we slant the bow a little bit, we get to banana bowing or the 8 in your bowing. And I will show it a little bit like this so you can see it well. If you slant your bow a bit on the down bow, then if you do this on the up bow and this, if you bow a little bit, and I'm exaggerating now, okay? So if I would do this as I do it now, then it obviously sounds a little bit weird. But if you suddenly do it, it can give you very, very smooth bow changes. Well, I hope that was visible a little bit. If I'm thinking too much about it, it goes wrong. But you can do that in that way and to make that 8. Or you can just, if your arm is really short, round it off like this. So do it a little bit that way and then you don't need to stretch your arm forward all the way. Now, the third permission slip you have from me is to not use the entire bow all the entire time. If you have a very long note, obviously if you don't need a whole bow, you can start more at the frog, so maybe that works for you, and then you just don't use up the whole bow. And some students ask me then, do I need to get 3/4 bow or shorter bow or maybe a 7/8 bow or anything? You can do that, try it out before you do that, but you don't need to have exactly the bow that you use. Even if you don't use this part of your bow in general, then you don't necessarily need to get a shorter bow, by all means. However, if you really like to have a slightly shorter bow, then of course get it, do what works for you, but it limits the choice that you have in violin bows a lot, because in 4/4 bows you have a lot more choice. So just see if you can find something that works for you. So these were the 3 tips if you feel that your arm is too short, to either lift your pinky at the tip, to round it off a little bit, or to just not use up your whole bow. So I hope at least one of these is helpful. Just let me know in the comments which one it is. And a bonus tip that I almost forgot to share is that when you do a down bow, in order to maintain a straight bow, you could move your shoulder a little bit forward just to get that bow in the right position. I noticed a shocking statistic, and that is that a little bit over 10% of the people watching my videos is actually subscribed. And yeah, I also follow YouTube channels that I like a lot and that just keep getting suggested to me, and then I'm not subscribed even though I like them. So, however, it really would help me if you subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Now, thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!